Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 7 of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am, of course, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, being joined once again this week by the Lady Killer, Ray Larkin, because you guys demanded him. We are here live in Torrance, California, the site of the Chris Jericho book signing. That's right, I've got the original one, A Lion's Tale, and his brand new one, Undisputed. Look, that's my bookmark. I'm just like a couple of pages in, but it's already an interesting read. We're here to meet the Ayatollah of Rock and Roll himself, but first, what you guys all tune into my show for, recap of this past week. And first we got to go back, Lady Killer, to Raw in Anaheim, California,
which we were there,
when the most electrifying man in sports entertainment made his 7-year return after a 7-year absence. The Rock. Crowd was electric, man. What did you think?
I mean, we didn't get the best tickets in the house.
Nah,
but
I was so high. If I was any higher in the the Honda Center, I would have been like RVD watching a Cheech and Chong marathon. That's how high I was in the building.
But seriously, when we were all the way in the back, I felt electricity.
Me too.
I felt when The Rock came back that it was a big moment, not only for stocks to go up, but it was a big moment.
It's always about the stocks.
It always is about the dollar.
I hate to bust him out, but one of my friends that I was with, I'm not going to throw his name on blast, but one of my friends that was there with me said he almost felt like crying. He felt that emotional with The Rock's return.
Why? We're not going to say his name.
No, we're not going to bust him out. Not going to bust him out, but one of the homies felt the emotion so strongly that he was about.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was water in my. I think I got something caught in my eye when he was talking. I don't know, but seriously, The Rock did a great job. But you know what? I'm still gonna back Cena in this because, you know, my family, we invest in the WWE company under the C Nation. This new Rock, the old Rock and all that. He went out and made the Tooth Fairy. Went out and made Doom. Went out and made a bunch of flops. I just really don't know if I can trust The Rock again, because he can cut the promo, but then he's gonna leave tomorrow. Then he's gonna.
This is true. This is true.
I'm just waiting for that.
For all the hatred that I spew upon him, John Cena is probably here for the long haul until he seriously injures himself in the ring to where he can't come back or he dies. God rest the thought. He is probably in the WWE for the long haul. The Rock has always been wishy-washy, you know, like a bad pair of flip-flops. Just one day he's a wrestler, the next minute he's like, I'm an actor and I'm never going back to wrestling.
He'll grab the mic after a match and he'll be an extra on the pay-per-view DVD. He's like, The Rock's leaving. Rock's leaving. The Rock's okay, guys, but he's leaving to go make a movie. And then it's like, then it gets.
And then 7 years later, he comes back and expects us to forget about it.
Exactly.
He expects us to forget about Doom and Race to Witch Mountain.
Yeah, you're like a neglectful father. You're just not there for it. This dad's on wrestling, right? He's a neglectful.
This is the Renegade of Wrestling. This is the other show,
It's
Ray.
an honor to be on for the first.
time.
You know, for the first time. We're on side of the one botch. But yeah, he's just very.
The Rock's had more than one though, so
yeah,
we're just gonna leave it there.
Leave it there.
SmackDown though.
Yeah.
Over to SmackDown, man. Dolph Ziggler, who the Lady Killer went on record more than once on the Dads of Wrestling show as saying that Dolph Ziggler is not on the level of Edge, who got coronated as World Heavyweight Champion last week on SmackDown, Lady Killer.
You know what?
Who got coronated on SmackDown, Lady Killer? Answer the question. Who got coronated? Thank you. Granted, his title reign lasted for like 5 minutes before Edge was rehired after being fired earlier in the night by Vicky.
Before the Rated R Superstar came
back. And then Edge came back and got his title back.
Won the belt back.
But the history books say Dolph Ziggler, World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, man.
So, can you finally concede defeat? Then maybe, just maybe, Dolph Ziggler is up there now in the upper echelon of WWE.
Well, storyline.
Of course, storyline-wise. That's all WWE is a bunch of storylines. Everything in wrestling, Lady Killer, is a storyline.
Well, a storyline, he's accepting his next unemployment check. So, you know, he was fired by general manager Theodore.
This is true. This is true. I think I saw Dolph Ziggler up in Hollywood today using food stamps to buy some, you know, some bleach dye for his hair. turn his hair back blonde again.
And it just didn't work out because he has to only buy food for that. That's not a food. That's a hair care product.
This is true.
That's not a hair care product.
Hey, there's some cachet though on those cards. There's a little bit of cachet. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying I speak from personal experience,
storyline, of course.
but I know people who know people who know people.
Yeah, storyline.
Whose baby mama's ex gets food stamps. I'm just throwing that out there.
Storyline, of course. Storyline.
But then we come to the Elimination Chamber and the returns of both Christian and Trish Stratus. 2 Canadians in one night, baby. 2 Canadians.
Did I not say that on episode 4 of Dad's on Wrestling?
I do believe you did.
I threw it out there, had the whole Edge and Christian shirt.
Yes, you did.
I knew this was going to happen. Big ups to the Captain Charisma, Mr. Peep Show.
But why didn't they throw Christian in the chamber? That was the biggest epic fail, was Big Show being the spot in the chamber. They should have put Christian in that spot. But I think what they really wanted to give fans was that ENC moment. And have Christian come out to help Edge. Maybe build up to WrestleMania with a couple of Edge and Christian classic tag team matches. Maybe against Alberto and Ricardo Rodriguez, or Alberto and insert jobber name here, because it's all about Alberto right now on the road to WrestleMania.
Definitely.
But I think that was the main reason they didn't throw him in the chamber. They wanted to give those classic ENC, for the benefit of those with flash photography, 5-second pose moments.
Exactly, and that's
for at least 40 days.
Yeah, for at least as long as they can possibly do it.
Yeah.
Christian coming back has just been so great, not only for the industry, but just for Edge to rejuvenate that career.
And for your stocks, right?
And
stocks going up.
Yeah, stocks going up, of course. But actually, I can't wait to see the Peep Show, the Cutting Edge, both shows combined. Yes. I can't wait to see the big. What is it? The big Elvis hat, or the big Elvis wigs, or the big cowboy hats.
The Peeps Edge. You heard it here first. The Peeps Edge.
There you go. There you go.
And then 2/21/11 finally came. The big payoff after weeks and weeks of hype, and it was The Undertaker.
No surprise there.
No real surprise. The minute they started to pipe in, "Ain't no grave can hold my body down" in week 2's promo, I knew it was The Undertaker.
I was fooled. I thought it was Mae Young. I thought it was Mae Young. There was no grave that was going to keep that
really?
98-year-old body down. I thought
but as soon as Undertaker returned, Undertaker barely got to remove his hat, and Triple H's music hit, and he came out. No promotion, no build-up. Boom! Time to play the game.
Yeah, I mean,
that had to be the greatest promo I've ever seen since the zombie on the debut episode of ECW. Because those two did not say a word. They looked at each other. They looked at the WrestleMania 27 sign. They looked back at each other. Taker made his cutthroat symbol. Trips did the crotch chop. And that was all that needed to be said. It's like, I challenge you. Challenge accepted, baby. Suck it.
Nice. And that's, you know what? I hope Triple H is the man that stops the streak. Now, you know I'm not been too far.
It's not gonna happen.
You know I was a big Triple H fan.
Yes, I know.
You knew I was rocking the Evolution shirts, the Paid Lady Made, and you know I was for one moment thinking I was Triple H. You know when we had the Enterprise. You know.
Except for when you showed up at RVD's wearing Hulk Hogan boas to an Al Snow signing.
All right. I'm not even gonna.
Then you reverted back to the '80s, there, brother.
All right, hey, I'm not gonna pull out pictures of you wearing your Word Life T-shirt and your little John Cena chain.
You know what?
Doing your little Word Life.
But Raw this past week, where John Cena went freestyle and took it back to his Dugganomics degree, I was marking out again because that was the John Cena that I liked.
And if you guys get on his Facebook page, now you're going to start seeing those Word Life photos I've been looking for.
They've been up there for a minute, dude. There's pictures of me rocking my gear up there. I've never hidden the fact that I used to be a fan. I'm just not anymore.
Fair enough.
This past week's Raw, though, if that's the direction John Cena's going to go for this feud with The Rock, that will either be built up to WrestleMania or SummerSlam, then I might end up getting behind John Cena again.
Thank you, man. Now, so
might.
I'll take it. I'll take it. So what else do we got on Raw to close out Raw? The main event on Raw.
The tag team titles changed times twice with the Era of Awesomeness
And the
WWE Championship and the Press Penny Tag Team Championship that I can go to Disneyland and pay 51 cents for a penny that looks exactly like the straps. Double champion for about 5 minutes.
With the Dr. Thuganomics John Cena.
Yes, and I like the way they did it, but I wish they hadn't done it. It seems like every time John Cena's building towards a big main event, they did it with Shawn, they did it with Batista, they give him the tag titles with whoever he's going to be feuding with at Mania, and they repeated the formula here with The Miz. But what happened? The Miz scored the pin to win the titles, and Cena took the pinfall to lose the titles. Translation being, I am better than you. I don't need you to win gold.
Speaking of better than anyone else, I'm actually reading this very nice edition of WWE Magazine with our favorite wrestler on the cover, CM Punk. And as you can see right here, he's flying over the week just like always.
Yep.
And if you guys didn't watch the opening match on Raw, it was actually a good one between Morrison and CM Punk.
For a couple of cripples gimping out there after the chamber match, that was a hell of a match.
Yeah, for those ass scratches CM Punk had, I mean, he really came through on that match.
You know, I mean, I don't know what more to say. John Morrison and CM Punk are definitely two of the future superstars within the WWE and should be carrying main events for the next 5 years, barring any major injuries.
I think just time needs to go by because remember ECW, they were feuding out there, and then they feuded on SmackDown when he was beating Jeff Hardy right before he faced Jeff Hardy at the at SummerSlam '09, and then now they're on Raw feuding. I think they need just a little bit of time, time away from each other.
I agree. The match that I really want to see, the feud that I really want to see right now is CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan.
Definitely.
I think those two have got such chemistry with each other that throw those two in a match. I wish it would be Mania, but it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be Punk versus Orton at Mania. But maybe start to build towards that at SummerSlam when they come back to LA.
Definitely.
One more again, and we'll be there.
Can you show that book, Jericho's new book? We're just gonna close out on this note. As a Chris Jericho fan outside of the ring, I'm a fan of his outside of the ring. He is an amazing talent. He has Fozzy. He has this book deal. He had Downfall. He had his little spots on VH1.
Don't forget his movie.
Albino Farm. Who could forget Albino Farm?
And Android Apocalypse.
But as a WWE mark, as I am, at the end of the day, you motherfucker, Chris Jericho, I paid nearly $2,000 to fly out to Arizona to watch Edge capture the championship for the 10th time.
And then you retained.
You could have had the moment on SmackDown.
That was the biggest disappointment of last year's Mania to me, was that they had all that build up with Edge only for him to fail.
So I'll say this, Jericho, as a fan of you on the outside of the ring, I love you to death. But as a fan who goes and pays a hard-earned money to buy those tickets to see you wrestle, and me being an Edge head, I'm gonna tell you this: look at where Edge is now, 11-time champion. He's above you now, Chris Jericho. And now, what are you doing now? You had Orton punt you in the fucking head, and now you're over here in Torrance, California, signing my book, an Edgehead's book.
But there's one thing that Chris Jericho has done that Edge can never say. He beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night to become the first ever undisputed champion in WWE history. And that is why he is, like his book says, undisputed. That's why he is the best in the world at what he does. And that's the gospel according to the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla. We're getting the wrap-up sign for our cameraman here for episode 7 of Renegade of Wrestling. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. The Lady Killer.
No. Sweet!
The Lady Killer, it's been a pleasure having you on this show instead of Dad's for a change. We'll see you next week on YouTube.
Thank you so much.